What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Game Winning Drive.
It's all about the cash flow. So come on and get this money, man. Getting paper, and we always do it major on the stroll. You know it.
Yeah. As always, I'm your boy Drew, your host of Game Winning Drive. And yes, I got him here with me this week, Brian Nattard. But first, before I get to Brian Nattard from the Sports Box, my co-host and one of my good friends, Alex Kopagan, who's been rolling this thing with me since last May. Alex, man, how was your weekend, brother? How was your week this week so far?
Everything's good, man. We're on this 2-week on, 2-week off schedule at work, so it's actually not too bad. I'm on my second of my 2 weeks off, so I go back to work on Monday. So, and I work for 2 weeks, and then I get the Christmas week and the New Year's week off. So it's actually pretty nice.
That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah, man. Everything's good, man. Dodging the corona still to this point. Haven't caught it yet. Doing the Matrix style the best I can to dodge it, right? Not touching surfaces and all that stuff, wearing my mask all the time, you know what I mean? Everything's good, man. Family's good. Everybody's happy and healthy.
That's good, man. That's good. And we're going to dive in, obviously, to your Cleveland Browns. Another win. So they're on a roll right now, dude. Brian, man, how's the weekend, man? How's the week? How's the Sport Box doing?
Living the dream. It's pretty much all we do all the time. This is pretty much where I spend, 18 hours of my day since I work from home, and I haven't been in my office since March. So you should see how bad the leather is on this chair. I need to get a new one. I didn't see a deal on Black Friday, so I'm going to use this till I find one. But no, everything's good. Sports Box happy to support the new venture here with the Buzz. Love seeing you guys, continue to grow and grow. Hopefully we can help a little bit there for sure.
Yeah, man, definitely, and I appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on tonight. Crazy things have happened since a couple weeks ago and last week. As you guys know, AEE, we are no longer presented by them. We have gone over to the Buzz. If you guys have been friends of mine on Facebook, I have been sharing the page like crazy on Twitter and on Instagram. This is just a new adventure for Game Winning Drive. Possible videos. We're glad that we're continuing the partnership. Myself with Brian Nattard, Brian Hess, and Tony, who I kicked his ass last week in fantasy football, but that's neither here nor there. But we still have something to say, Alex. I remember, Alex, we talked about it last week. Alex, Brian, I don't know if you've been watching our show or not, but if your balls need grooming, just hit up Manscaped to do the doing. I see I'll work that little plug-in right there. You like that little plug-in right there? Okay. Yeah. Rocking the Manscaped t-shirts. Our partners over at Manscaped. Our boy Archie, man, he does his thing, dude. So, Brian, if you ever need like a little white elephant gift or something, to help you out, get the missus a little excited, use Manscaped. Check out this awesome.
You gotta be clean where it counts, not just you gotta do what you gotta do.
Your balls definitely.
Yeah, your balls will thank you. Check out this crazy cool promo that we got running. Yeah, man, Manscaped, man, your balls will thank you. Dude, check the ticker below. And we got a cool 25% off the promo code GameWinningDrive 2020. I'm sorry, you get 20% off, my bad. And it's also including free shipping. Dude, like Alex and I talked about, Alex, I know you can talk about it a little bit. The box you get, dude, is really dope. I mean, talk about, let the viewers know what you get in the box.
Yeah, man, the thing is legit, right? So I got the box. I was unaware that we had partnered with Manscaped, right? So it just shows up at my house, and I'm like talking to my wife, and I'm like, "Where'd this come from?" She's like, I don't know. Do you got a secret admirer? I was like, I doubt it. Right? So I hit you up. You're like, oh, yeah, we partnered with Manscaped, right? So I open this thing. I know it's for me. It's not a mistake, right?
Right.
And the first thing I see is the T-shirt on the top, right? I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. I'll take a free T-shirt always, right? Then I get it. I dig into it. There's an absolutely luxurious pair of boxers, which I'm currently wearing. They cup you very nicely. It feels very good, right? And then you break into it, and there's this bag with a trimmer and a guide, right? And then there's some ball aftershave and some ball lotion, right? It's great, man. I cannot complain at all. I have used the product. I used it to trim my face first, and then I went down there. I haven't put it back on my face.
So what you're saying is the carpets match the curtain, right?
Exactly. Like very close, very comfortable. Wasn't worried about getting nicked.
Oh my God.
The product is out of control, man. I love it.
It's awesome, man. It's awesome. Yeah, guys. So a couple comments on the board before we get into talking about football. You know, Josh DeBoer for the DeBoer Room. What's up, Josh? What's up, fellas? Hey, guys. Obviously, the Buzz. Hey, guys. How you doing, man? And Archie, yeah, buddy. Welcome on the show, Brian. Let's go. Yes, sir.
I always know when Archie's posting Buzzers, it's all Maple Leafs like 24/7. So I know
yeah, definitely. I love the Sports Box guys, Daniel Bockley. And yeah, you need a shirt so you won't wear that Browns trash. There you go. With that being said, guys, let's get into it. Let's dive into it. First down, hot topics. Let's recap the Ravens and Steelers game today a little bit. So, you know, from what I watched, Brian, no Lamar Jackson, obviously, no Mark Ingram, no J.K. Dobbins, a lot of no Mark Andrews. You know, this game was pretty much handed in the silver plate for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I want to get your reaction first and foremost on how the NFL handled this compared to what the Denver Broncos did last Sunday, starting a wide receiver from a practice squad who hasn't played quarterback in a few years, and he still played the game. Why will the Ravens get the benefit from this? And secondly, the game was really just trashy all day long. There was really nothing to be proud of if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers from my standpoint. What do you take your recap on the game?
So I guess two answers to that question. So first and foremost, about how the league handled it, you have to see it for what it is. The reason that the Broncos continued to play was because they were able to contain the COVID outbreak to the quarterback room. There's all this talk in the offseason, or at least leading into this, it was almost like, would you have like a designated survivor where there's somebody at a quarterback position who wouldn't even be with the team at all times because that's the one spot that you can't risk losing because there's really no depth there. That didn't happen here. It was Jeff Driscoll that had COVID. It was the three guys that weren't wearing masks around him that were close contacts, and that was the extent of the containment of the issue. For the Ravens, every other day, 3 tests, 4 tests, 5 tests, like it was going through the roster. So it wasn't a competitive thing. And Roger Goodell said pretty much the same thing: is we're not going to do this to on a competitive basis. It's, can you field a team? Doesn't matter. If you don't have a kicker or a punter or you're down to one receiver, figure it the hell out. It's your fault you have it by not taking your protocols. Broncos, they were there. And let's be real here too. The Ravens didn't really benefit either. I mean, they came in with a skeleton crew. Yeah, they still lost the game. I think everybody thought they were going to win the game, but they still lost. So standings wise, whether it was a forfeit or anything else, it ends up the same. So I don't really think that ended up happening that way. For Broncos fans, I mean, I don't do a better job with the masks. I mean, listen, I'm in Jersey. It's mandated here. I don't have a choice. But, like, just be better. And at the end of the day, I don't think the league wants to start moving games to Week 18 unless they have to, because once you do it with one game, what if it happens to Baltimore again, right? Like, you have a cushion for one, but if it starts getting into 2 or 3, like, that's going to throw everything off. From the game itself, listen, Pittsburgh's 11-0. Don't apologize for wins. They have not looked good the last couple of weeks. They struggle with Dallas, which with nobody at quarterback. Talking about having no quarterback, they had no quarterback. They haven't really been lighting the world on fire. So yeah, they're 11-0, but it feels a little hollow right now.
Yes,
I wouldn't say they're the best team in the AFC, despite what their record would say.
Definitely. I definitely agree with you, Brian. And Alex, that's funny that Brian brings that up because we talked about that last week. You brought that up saying, this team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, we like the makeup of this team, but we don't think that this team is a true 11-0 team. And by what I'm saying to the audience is that this might be a team that definitely will get in the playoffs. They definitely might get the number 1 seed, but they could easily be just like the Ravens were last year and lose against the Tennessee Titans at home, because we don't see this team being that ferocious as 11-0 team. Your thoughts?
Yeah, man. Listen, if I'm Pittsburgh and I got to face the Titans at all during this postseason, I'm scared out of my mind, because you saw what they did with the Ravens, right? And they have not been impressive at all in the last 2 weeks. I mean, Roethlisberger threw 51 times in this game, right? Yeah, he completed 36, but he threw 1 touchdown and 1 interception. So that's nothing to me. That's just padding stats. That you weren't doing anything with those 36 completions. It's great that you had 36 completions. Congratulations. But you didn't do anything with it, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So that's a wash to me, right? They should have blown the Ravens out, like, off the field. It should have been an absolute massacre. There should have been a backup in the second half. Like, it was terrible football, right? And they cannot. I agree with what Brian's saying, right? The NFL's hands were tied. They had to play the game this week. They had no choice. They don't have an option, because like he's talking about, if they push the Steelers in the Ravens game and then the Ravens or the Steelers have an outbreak, how do you play 2 games? You don't have a week 19 to fall back on, right?
Definitely.
You have week 18, right? So if you were to extend the regular season 1 week, or just call it a double forfeit or whatever you want to do, it messes with the standings, right? It could eventually, especially with the Steelers fighting, the Kansas City Chiefs for the number 1 seed, right? I don't think the Steelers are going to finish undefeated. The way they've looked these last 2 weeks, I'm thinking they're going to lose 2 or 3 games down the stretch, right? Now, they still might squeak out the first seed, but if I'm putting my money, I'm betting my money on Kansas City. I think Kansas City looks much better. If anything, they're improving every week, right? So, yeah, I mean, like he said, the NFL didn't have a choice. It was a terrible game. I mean, the game started at 3:40. The guys were probably like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, on a Wednesday when they're normally doing walkthroughs or unpadded practice, you know what I mean? They're doing an unpadded practice or walkthroughs on Wednesdays, right? So they're not used to it. So it was funky for everybody, and we got a terrible product, unfortunately. You know what I mean? It was not fun to watch. I watched the first half and I turned the game off. I honestly thought Steelers were going to dump the game. Legitimately, I thought it was going to be, the Ravens were going to win like 20-17 or something like that, right? 21-17, somewhere in that range. So it is what it is. It's what we have to deal with in COVID times, unfortunately. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a game this week on Tuesday or Wednesday again coming up, because it's going to happen. I mean, this is going to happen until the end of the season. As it gets colder with the flu season coming in, people are going to get the flu, and then there's going to be issues like this where we're going to have to extend it a couple weeks because 11 guys are out, or a couple days, whatever. And it's going to be ugly, and it's going to be clunky, and it's not going to be fun football to watch. But the NFL's hands are tied, I mean, we're coming down to crunch time here. We're in week 13 right now, you know what I mean? Like, it's rough now,
Yeah, definitely, man. That's why we're going to have 2 Monday night games and a Tuesday night game. It's these are the times that we have to live in. About the product of today, the Steelers are famous, and they are known for playing down their opponents, which Josh Aboard wrote in the comments here. Another thing is Bud Dupree is confirmed a torn ACL. That hurts his defense a lot, especially after losing Devin Bush for the year. So I mean, that's 2 big pieces in the middle of your linebacking core that you will not have heading into the playoffs and heading to the rest of the season. So more adjustment for Mike Tomlin, who I trust in a lot as a head coach for this Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to talk about the Baltimore Ravens a little bit. Lamar Jackson, if that doesn't prove to you that he was an MVP, then I don't know what is. We saw a horrid display from RG3 today. I know he didn't have big-time players, but he looked terrible. For a guy that, you want to talk about a one-hit wonder, I mean, my God, dude. I wonder if you count back the days that Shanahan had him come back in after he tore his ACL and it ruined his career, man. It's really a tragic thing to see. And what I saw today, that first half, I had to turn off the TV because, we all remember back in 2014, he tore up the Cowboys that day and was just an animal. And it's really sad to see talent like that just go to waste because of horrible coaching decisions. With that being said, we for the whole Broncos situation, I get what Brian. I 1,000% get what you guys said. I don't know why teams didn't have a quarterback rest in isolation and while he's getting. I know that Josh McCown was getting that, but I don't know why other teams weren't doing that. I don't get it. But that's on them. That's on their decision. That's their responsibility. And big ups to head coach Vic Fangio for not taking any excuse and putting them in their place for that instance.
Well, I think the RG3 thing is a cautionary tale for Joe Burrow.
100%.
You have this massive injury to a very, very high pick that you're banking a lot of your future on.
Yes.
And I saw on our show Tuesday night, I said, look, if he's healthy, he plays. If he's not, he doesn't. It's not really difficult. But they're not in a position to have to rush him back. So from that standpoint, it's good when he's ready. Get him back in. And just a quick shout out to Trace McSorley, who's been a previous guest on the Sports Box for his first NFL touchdown pass today, which was great. It was in a losing effort, trying his best to get him back. Listen, hot take. He's the best natural thrower on that roster.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I have no argument there on that one. Yeah, guys. So, leading into this is going to lead me to my next question, actually. Brian and Alex, I know that we talked about the Eagles a lot, about their problems, about their issues. Alex, let's start with you, then we'll hit to Brian. Do you blame the Eagles' problems more on Carson Wentz, Doug Pederson, the coaching staff? We'll all tie those two together, or the front office?
I'm so tired.
I'm listening.
Trashing Carson Wentz, right? Like, the guy is ultra talented. When he has receivers and more than a second and a half to throw the ball, he looks fantastic. When he doesn't have his tight end. Name a wide receiver that would start on any other team that he has that he throws the ball to. None of them would start anywhere else. None of them.
No.
So, in his offensive line, I don't know. It's like the 12th version of the offensive line. I think it's 9, but they did a graphic in the game. It's the most configurations of an offensive line for any team, like
different combinations for the year. Yeah.
Almost double every other team in the NFL. So I blame nothing on Carson Wentz. Now, that being said, he could make better decisions sometimes. I get that. Whatever. Every quarterback could do that, right? The best, Patty Mahomes is not perfect, right? So quarterbacks make mistakes, whatever. Pederson needs to go. He should be gone after this year. If he's not, then fire him.
Playing injured. He's playing injured.
I'm not talking about Wentz. I'm talking about Pederson.
Doug Pederson. Oh, Doug Pederson. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
I thought I said Jason Peters. My bad.
Oh, the coach should be gone. Period. End of subject. And if he's not, if I'm the owner, I'm firing my entire front office. I'm firing everybody. But yes, I understand there are a lot of issues, injuries, but it seems to be the issues every year with the Eagles. They constantly have injuries. Maybe you need to look into your training staff, replacing them, replacing your doctors. I don't know what it is, but it's like maybe you need to replace the turf on the field, the grass on the – like they have more injuries than any other team I can remember in the history of the NFL. It's ridiculous every year. Stop drafting frail guys. I don't know what it is, right? But Carson Wentz is their future. If you can't see that, then you're not watching the football that I watch every Sunday, right? Yes, he makes mistakes, but he's more of a gunslinger anyways, right? I like that about him. Normally he makes the right decision 80% of the time, right?
I think he's more of a balanced quarterback than a gunslinger. That's just that's because he does make the right plays when he has the right team around him. I'm going to cut you off real quick. I'm gonna let Brian go last because I know Brian's very, very in tune with Philly because of the minions he has around him, including Hess and other cats.
It is what it is.
Listen, man. Listen, I am I'm not a hater, but I think Carson Wentz is second in that draft class. I still think Dak is one. But here's the big thing. Here's the difference of it. We saw what Carson did last year with no receivers, with the same amount of injuries, and with a depleted defense. If Brian wants to correct me on this, Miles Sanders is a disappointment. Miles Sanders, since he came back from his injury, is one of the worst running backs fantasy-wise. And he is. It's just PIF came out this morning saying he's one. But I understand your reasoning. If we're going to use the same reasoning for Carson, we should use the same reasoning for Miles. Just like we should use the same reasoning for Doug Pederson. I don't think it's on Pederson. I don't think Pederson's hands are dirty at all when it comes to this. What is a man supposed to do when a report came out this morning that there's been issues inside of the front office about who to select who between Jalen Reagor and Justin Jefferson? That was the report this morning that they were arguing about it. Doug wanted Justin Jefferson. Doug wanted the safety Jeremy Chin instead of freaking wasting a second-round pick on a backup quarterback that's not going to see the light of day in Jalen Hurts. Right. These are all issues that are suffering from Howie Roseman. These are issues that he's picking. And I'm going to let Brian finish this up because Brian knows more than me when it comes to this. But if it's me, it's front office. Owner needs to step up and say, you're done. You got us a ring. We'll build you a statue right by Rocky Balboa. Thanks a lot for what you've done. See you later. And it's time to start over again. You got to start over. I would try and lure Nick Foles to come back to Philly because his stint in Chicago is going to be done. I know Brian don't want to hear it, but he works in this system really well. And the second thing is Alshon Jeffrey needs to go. Alshon Jeffrey is wasting the spot away from Fulgham. Fulgham, it wasn't even seeing the whole game. And to me, have you ever seen a guy go so hot and then go away because Reagor and Jeffries came back? Have you ever seen that? He's been on fire. Why would you sit him? It makes no sense to me. Offensive line, different combinations. I will say this. The Philadelphia front has been playing their asses off. Really good defensive front. There's something there for the future for Philly. It just, like you said, Alex, the strength and conditioning coach, whoever it is, they need to fix it. And they need to fix it pronto because they are wasting away. If Carson is your future, $106 million. If that is your future and you're basing it on your future, protect his ass and get him offensive linemen that can protect. Because what we're seeing is he's digressing. He is digressing, whether you like it or not. He is digressing. So go ahead, Brian. I could talk all day about the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, so Carson Wentz looked like the MVP of the league the year they were going to win the Super Bowl, and then he got injured, right? Right. What's one of the main variables in between that Carson Wentz and this Carson Wentz? You want to know how important coaching and offensive line is in the NFL? I'll give you a name you're very familiar with, Phillip Rivers, who behind the offensive line in Indianapolis and effective coaching with Frank Reich is leading an 8-3 team right now. And he's not very good. Right. They're making him look good, despite of his age. Okay?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Listen, I am not an Eagles fan. I hate that team. Wentz's extension hasn't even started yet. It starts next year. This is nonsense. Listen, if Jalen Hurts was drafted in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round, we aren't even having this discussion. We're having it because he was a 2nd-round pick, which was an overdraft by this GM for reasons I can't seem to explain because they wanted a very expensive insurance policy. The contract cost prohibitive. They're not going to get rid of Carson Wentz this offseason. And if you want to start putting blame, the two people that are clearly at blame here are Howie Roseman and Doug Pederson. Howie Roseman first and foremost. This is a bottom 5 roster in the NFL, and I challenge someone to tell me different. Their roster's terrible. They can't draft for shit. Go back and look at their draft picks. I mean, it literally like I think they hit maybe 1 or 2 every other year. Like it's a disaster. Even just last year, right now, snap judgment. So you take Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. That's a disaster. You decide not to package your pick that you took Reagor with and 50 to go up and get CeeDee Lamb, top receiver in the draft, ends up in your primary rival. Then in your 2nd round, yeah, sure. You don't need help, Carson. We'll take a guy to somebody else breathing over your shoulder. The entire time he's been there, he's never had, you know what, kid? This is just your job. There's a goddamn statue of Nick Foles outside of Lincoln Financial Field. Like, he just never, like, you want to, like, seriously, I don't like, look, go back to the play. Go back to the play in the Cleveland game where he threw the interception, the guy that ran it right back in for the pick six. And I don't know how Richard Rodgers is looking at, because Denzel Ward, unabated to the quarterback, gets right to him as the ball is thrown. Oh, Carson threw a pick. I mean, watch the play. He's staring into space. Like, what do you want him to do? And I'm a big quarterbacks make receivers guy. I'm not like going to deviate from that, but he's got no protection. So what's going to happen is, look, put yourself in his shoes. If he feels he's got to do everything, it's weighing on him. He's trying he doesn't want to be going through this. So in my personal opinion, the way I kind of see this going is, I think Howie and Doug are gone at the end of the season. I have to be coach to not even.
I'm sorry. Who'd you say?
Howie and Doug are gone. The GM and the coach are gone.
You think Doug's gone?
Yeah.
Brian. So Brian, if you open up Pandora's box and you're saying that, are you inserting Deuce as going to be the head coach, or are you trying to find someone else?
I don't. Well, here's the thing: is I think they look outside the organization, but that brings me to my next point. So they can't get rid of Wentz right now because of the contract. It's better after next season. So if they bring a new regime in, you're stuck with Wentz for a year. If it doesn't work out because the roster sucks, it's still going to suck in a year. I hate to break it to you. Wentz will be the blame for that. They'll move on from Wentz, and then they'll fix that. Coaches and GMs want to get judged by the guys that they pick and they bring in. Nobody brought in Carson Wentz from the guys that would come in, so he's going to be out the door. Indianapolis, San Francisco, Minnesota. Look at these teams that might need a veteran quarterback. Having said all that, the two biggest advocates for Jalen Hurts in the organization are Doug Pederson and Howie Roseman.
Right.
Who are not going to be there. So now they're going to want to get their own guy to go be quarterback, not the guy who was stuck here before you got here. So like you could go through this like series of events where Doug is gone, Howie's gone, Wentz is gone, and Hurts is somewhere else. And I don't know what the hell you do after that because they have no plan. But like everything they do is wrong. That's everything they do is wrong. I can't even like point to, look at this great thing that they did. Go back to the draft that they had in 2017. It was in Philadelphia. They used a second-round pick on Sidney Jones, a cornerback who was a top 5 guy who got hurt, right?
Right.
But look at the butterfly effect of that. So they take Sidney Jones there instead of a guy like Joe Mixon who's staring them in the face. If you take Joe Mixon there, then the next year you don't take Miles Sanders. So even if you decide you want Arcega-Whiteside, disaster pick, you still could have taken Metcalf.
Hey, a question to ask you. Let's stick on that real quick before Alex. I know Alex wants to chime in. Instead of taking Miles Sanders, like you said, and getting Joe Mixon, who was there? Who was there instead of getting Miles Sanders? If you could look real quick, who's a guy that could fit that team, that Eagles team?
Right? I mean, wasn't Metcalf available at that
in 18?
Yeah. So the Miles Sanders pick.
19. He was drafted in 19.
He was drafted the same year as Sanders, right? Yeah. Metcalf and Sanders came out same draft, right?
So with the 2019 draft, yeah. So if you go back to the second round of that, I'm going there right now. The Eagles took Sanders at 53, Arcega-Whiteside at 57. So there's two spots right then and there that you pass over. DK Metcalf, Deontay Johnson.
I mean, there's a lot of guys making impacts at that position in that draft, and I don't know why they picked those guys. Honestly, I mean, like with your history of injuries, why do you pick a guy that fell from top 5 because of an injury? You don't know if he's coming back. Like it was a bad injury, right? So my thing about Doug is this, right? He's came in to be an offensive guru. He's supposed to be this offensive genius. Why do I not see more screens? Why do you not figure out a good way to protect Carson to give him 2 to 3 seconds to throw the ball? I'm not asking for 5 to 7, right? Give him 2 to 3 seconds. Give him a screen game. Give him crossing routes, natural pick plays. There's millions, and I'm not a head coach, and I know all these things. Like, how are you a genius? That's why I think Pederson has to go.
But what's the variable from MVP Carson to now? Frank Reich.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
No longer the guy in Philadelphia. He's doing a great job in Indianapolis with, look, Drew, this is not a shot at you. Phillip Rivers is done, but they're winning. Look at what he's doing with that.
Carson. Yeah, Rivers has got just enough left in the tank.
Yeah.
Just enough to keep them competitive, run the ball. He makes timely throws. He's just good enough, right? He's nowhere near what he was, right? He's a shell of himself, but he's good enough to get it done. Listen, that offensive line and that defense.
He's not playing bad football. He's playing average football. Okay, he's playing average football, which is what I expected coming into the season. I knew that coming in. His arm isn't what it used to be. He's not throwing 55, 60-yard bombs. But that offensive scheme and that verbiage is what helped him with a lack of offseason and training camp. And it's evident, dude. It's evident in what he's able to do and what he's able to accomplish. I mean, he's still planning up good games. It's not like he's playing bad. It's just not Phillip Rivers-esque what he was in the Chargers. Second thing, I know people want to blame Doug Pederson for his lack of scheming or this and that. Dude, listen, Jalen Reagor, this isn't about scheming people to get them open. What was his biggest – what are we talking about, Alex, coming into the draft of last year? The young man does not know how to gain separation. He doesn't know how to run the right routes. His only thing that he was good at was he was a speed burster and he could catch the ball on the deep ball. In cuts, outs, posts, all that, he couldn't separate. Why is that Doug's fault? That's not Doug's fault. Doug's fault is not to come out there and say, look, I'm going to have you do this, this, and this, and you better have separation to get open. Dude, you have no players to even scheme properly. It's just there's only so much you could do as a head coach when it comes to football. And I don't think all the blame should be on Doug at all whatsoever. Like Brian just said, the drafting of how this team is being organized is absolutely horrendous. He just said it. He went with all these guys, and the only name that we could pop up in our head is Miles Sanders that's shown a glimpse of what he could be. We haven't seen Miles Sanders a full season being a complete back. We haven't seen that. So when can we say that Howie in his drafting, who's he drafted besides Carson? Did he draft Carson Wentz?
Well, yeah, but that was also an obvious pick.
Right. So, I mean, is Carson Wentz the only guy since the Carson Wentz pick that's been, oh, wow, that was a really good pick?
You know, I'm looking at their draft history right now. Really, since Wentz, Dallas Goedert, and they won't get rid of Ertz, so you can't really maximize Goddard. Maddox is whatever. You know, Josh Sweat is your boy's favorite player.
No, he's trash.
Andre Dillard's been an abject disaster. That whole 2019 draft has been a disaster outside of Sanders. And then last year, I don't know what to make of any of it.
I understand what you're saying, but he still has impact. He has a say in these draft picks, right? You're the head coach.
Not big enough.
You got to coach these players. So your job is to inform your GM. I need a wide receiver that can run all the routes in the tree, right?
That's the report.
Not Jalen Reagor. Don't draft him. If you
that's
draft
the report
him,
said this morning. They had issues with struggling of who to pick between JJ and freaking Reagor, and Doug wanted Justin Jackson.
I get what you're saying. Justin Jefferson. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but that's not the only pick we're talking about. I mean, he's had input on all these draft picks. He's the head coach, man. Like he's not doing a good enough job informing his. They both need to be. They both need to go. You got to start over.
The only coach you can hold accountable for having a say is guys like Pete Carroll and John Gruden, who have full access to GM powers to draft who they want to draft for their team. Bill Belichick, these cats, these dudes are the ones that you can hold on to most accountable because they're doing both the job.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying he has some input. He's not the final decision maker. I understand that, but he has to make it understandable without a doubt to his GM. This is the type of player I need for my system to work. Right. Reagor clearly does not fit in his system. It's another fault of his for starting Reagor. Reagor doesn't fit your system. Fulgham's tearing it up. Put Fulgham in there. Put Reagor on the bench. I don't care if he's your number one draft pick. You're the head coach.
Don't.
Well, two things. So here's the thing. So Wentz doesn't get a massive extension a year early unless Doug signs off on it.
100%.
Okay.
Oh, no doubt.
If Doug has a doubt, this is Doug's job. Okay. If Doug has any doubt that Carson Wentz is his guy, he doesn't say, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't give him $100-something million over 4 years. And you know what? Then it probably doesn't happen because Doug's probably out the door at that point. And I always hear from my Eagle fan friends as part of the box. We have a lot of them, obviously. Oh, well, Jalen Hurts might fit what the Eagles want to do a little better than Carson Wentz. Okay. Well, then what I would say to that is, why don't you change what you want to do then to fit the players that you have? Because that's nonsense. If you're a good football coach, you should be able to walk into any locker room in the NFL, identify your strengths and weaknesses, play to your strengths, and fix your weaknesses. I don't want to hear that nonsense. Oh, and that's like, so Cliff Kingsbury. Well, the only reason Kingsbury's got a job is because how good Kyler Murray is. Okay, then you suck. Because you don't have a job because of you have a job because of him. So I don't want anyone to hear that. Like, if you should be able to see the 53-man roster that you have, tweak it as needed if you want to, but here are your guys. How do I best maximize the strengths of the guys that I have? If you can't do it, get the hell out.
So, Brian, with that being said, because I think you're proving my point here. If he's signing off on Wentz getting that major contract, which we all agree, a coach has to put some input into that big-time contract at the time was record-breaking for a quarterback. You really think in your brain that Doug Pederson signed off for Jalen Hurts to be drafted in the second round? There's no way.
That's fine. But stand up on the table, bang doors, like make your GM understand this is not a draft pick we need. That's my point. He's not assertive enough.
Okay, that's fine. But at the end of the day, who gets to make the final pick?
It is. It's how he's picked. No, it's how he's picked. But listen, but to be fair though, guys, I mean, look, that kind of pick in that spot, you need the owner on board. You need Wentz on board, which I don't think you really had, and you need everybody on board for that because look at how it was perceived. Oh, wait a minute. So you just signed him last year to. You're drafting we did the draft show. I literally was so off my game for 4 minutes, like I couldn't stop laughing. I pride myself on like trying to be like just as just even keel as possible, and I couldn't. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Velarde was like, oh my god, because we saw the tweet. I'm like, what? And I put it in big huge letters: Eagles draft a quarterback, because like nobody's like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Yeah. And like to me, I think Howie and Doug are more tied. Here's the thing too: if this thing blows up, right? There's literally no way that Howie and Doug survived that, or Howie or Doug survived that. Don't tell me that the GM who traded up to go get the player and then signed the player to a massive deal that wants to get rid of him before the deal even starts somehow survives that. That's not America. And the coach, you said this, you could win with this guy. Well, you're not winning with this guy, so you're out too. So again, this to me looks like, and I didn't like the roster before the season started, but they have a lot of problems. I'm pretty happy about it too, but they have a lot of problems. No. I don't think it's easily fixed. And if Wentz is the fall guy, then Wentz could go somewhere else, revitalize his career, win a ring, and I'll buy his jersey and walk around here proudly and laugh my ass off because it's fun.
Oh, jeez. Oh, what did that be?
I agree with you. I'll take him in Cleveland right now over Baker all day. You do twice on Sunday. Twice on Sunday. I'll take him over Baker right now.
We have seen Carson be this good. And listen, Drew, we're not going to go down this rabbit hole tonight, but we always had this Dak versus Wentz discussion.
Yeah.
Right? Here's a great example, okay? Look at the team that Dak has around him and look at what Wentz is trying to do. Wentz's career has done more with less, and Dak has done less with more.
Yep.
I disagree. Look, dude. You could talk about rosters all you want, but to be good, you have to be available. And my man's never available during the postseason. So with that being said, I can't judge someone who doesn't play in the postseason, and his only play in the postseason is getting his face knocked down with Clowney's nuts all over it. That's the only play we'll see.
I get what you're saying, but if you're not making it to the playoff with one of the highest salary and 3 Hall of Famers on your offensive line and a Hall of Famer in the backfield, like you got Hall of Famers all over the place in Dallas, and you can't even make the playoffs. So
easy up on the Hall of Famer for Zeke. We don't know what Zeke's going to be. He could tear his Achilles next year and not be a Hall of Famer.
The trajectory that he has right now, if you tell me you don't think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame, I think you're smoking that good stuff, man. Like I'm
not saying that he's not, but I'm saying he hasn't been available.
Stay healthy. I understand what you're saying, but that offensive line, I mean,
the dude was putting up massive numbers.
It fell apart.
Stop. His defense was trash, and he had Happy Clappy on the sidelines. Look what the Giants OC is doing.
Drew. Hey,
Stop.
Drew.
Who's in first place in that division with Happy Clappy right now?
Drew.
Really? Really? We're really going to talk about the Giants being in first place right now?
I'm just saying,
oh my!
man, like you were talking
I'm surprised Brian didn't take off his freaking Rangers hat. Stop!
Listen.
Stop!
Look! How good does Zeke look right now behind that offensive line?
Looks trash.
Okay, so
Looks
again,
trash.
okay, so why are you good? You or the line?
The offensive line for sure.
Okay,
Offensive line is always number one in football.
That's
then
why
again,
Barry
uh,
Sanders is considered
back that
probably
up.
the greatest running back of all time because he never had an offensive line. And he
Hey,
was
jackass!
ridiculous.
Hey, that's why you don't pay $90-something million to a running back.
Oh, I agree.
So then you can fix the offensive line.
Listen, I agree.
This
We're
has
gonna
nothing to do-
overpay Chubb. We're gonna. I understand. I totally.
This has
agree.
nothing to do
Overpay
with
running back.
Dak versus Wentz. You don't pay $90-something million to a running back that didn't deserve the $90-something million.
Nobody does at that position.
No. Look at CMC. Hasn't done nothing all year. He's only played 3 games. Getting paid $90+ million. Come on, man. You don't pay that.
The Chiefs reuse, reduce, and recycle running backs every year, and they seem just fine. They don't put money into it.
Yeah, because guess what? Another 4 years, they'll probably draft another one after Homeboy's rookie contract is going to be done.
Yeah.
Who hasn't been good at all this year as a rookie running back? If you look at his numbers, he's been okay. He's been middle of the pack. He ain't
Yeah,
worth.
he started out.
But guess what?
Hot, but then he's fallen
Yeah,
off,
exactly.
yeah.
But guess what? He doesn't need to be because you know why? They have
Pat
Andy Reid
Mahomes
and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
That's why.
And Travis Kelce.
And I also can make a case against Kansas City O-line who lost 3 guys, 1 guy to COVID and 2 guys during injuries, and they're still putting up numbers. So that's just it's
Right, but how
Patrick
much time
Mahomes.
with that patched, but with that patched offensive line, how much time did Patrick Mahomes have to throw the ball? He wasn't literally
know his
hiking,
stats for that.
snapping the ball, and having 2 guys tackling him. If you watch Eagles games, which is very terrible to do, right? I get this. It's ugly. It hurts my eyes and my brain because you're professional athletes. You're a coach making $5 million a year, whatever the heck Pederson's making, and I could scheme a better offense than you can. It baffles me, right? Like,
No, you can't.
I could. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you. Madden at this point can scheme a better offense than he's schemed. It's terrible.
Oh, God.
Whatever you do, just don't say you should be an NFL executive. I know.
No, I don't want to be an
Yeah,
NFL.
we know a guy. We know a guy.
Oh, yeah,
Matt Ryan's the greatest quarterback of all time. All right, here we go. Should Chargers head coach Anthony Lynn get fired after his issues last week in Buffalo? I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but he made some of the most stupidest time management timeouts I've ever seen in my life. And then a quarterback draw on the goal line. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Overall, guys, do you guys think Anthony Lynn should get fired after this year's done for the Chargers? Brian?
Yeah.
Well, what was your expectation coming into the year?
My expectation coming in the year was playoffs.
You know, maybe your expectations were a tad high. I didn't think they were going to be in the playoffs. So, I mean, at
I
the
thought
end of the
they
day,
were.
like, I don't – if you want
That was
to
before
fire him,
Derwin James getting hurt. Getting hurt.
I'm not going to dispute that he could be out of a job because there's no results there, but whatever he's done recently wouldn't be the reason for that. And really, to me, and I said this on our show, and you were very upset when Mike thought the Chargers could win against the Bills, which is why I'm kind of curious as to why you're so mad right now because they lost.
Oh, I'm not. I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
I'm not opposed to them changing the coach, but again, and this is how many young quarterbacks have we seen just get ruined by the constant changing of the offense, the head coach. If you had Lynn coming in, I think you kind of at least need to let him see it through, right? I'm not going to go here. I'll give you just a name, right? Jason Campbell. I'm not going to say this guy was going to be a star by any stretch, but he had like 5 or 6 coordinators in like 5 or 6 years. Like, I don't know what the hell you expect this guy to do. He's trying to learn an offense, and you change as soon as he gets the answer, you change the question, and that's not a environment conducive to success, right? Yep. So, to me, right now, all price of admission is Justin Herbert. Okay, you hit. It looks like you hit with the pick, and that's all that matters right now. This year doesn't matter. Lose every damn game. Go get him some help,
Yes.
So I don't. If you want to fire Lynn, I'm not opposed to you doing that, but I like the continuity with the kid quarterback.
Right.
And at the same time, they're pretty competitive in losing. That's kind of the best case scenario for them right now.
Yeah, I think Herbert fits Lynn's offense perfectly. I think he does everything well that Lynn needs him to do for his offense to work. I just think they need better pieces, right? Mainly on defense and a couple interior linemen probably, right? And they'll turn it around. Yeah, and they'll turn it around, right? I don't think Lynn is the issue. Yes, he made some bonehead time management. Listen, everybody does, right? Nobody is mistake free. I'm sorry. Even the god Bill Belichick makes mistakes, right? He hasn't drafted a guy that's on his roster, I think, in 10 years, right? Like he's not that good, right, at drafting and other things. He makes mistakes. So I don't think that gets him fired. And I didn't expect you guys to win more than 5 games this year. So you're right around where I figured you would be. And I don't think that that's Lynn's fault. I think it's your roster's fault more than Lynn.
For me, as a resident Charger fan here, on the Buzz and pretty much on the Sport Box when I guess speak on the Sport Box, basically, for me, to be honest with you guys, back-to-back years way below 500 win-loss record. Phil Rivers had a horrendous year last year. A lot of injuries back-to-back years. Derwin James not been able to play back-to-back years. Joey Bosa's always nicked and dined. Mike Williams always in and out. I pretty much consider him just an average pick at this point. The first-round pick out of Clemson. He's had some highs and he's had a lot more lows. So with that being said, man, for me, there's only one name that I want. I wrote in a tweet the other day, Eric Bellamy. If he is available, I'm trying to lure him from my rival and make him my guy for Justin Herbert for the future. That's the dude that I want. There's no one else I want out in this market. I don't want Josh. I don't want these other cats that are going to be available. There's only one guy I want, and that's him. If he's not coming out, then I would keep Anthony Lynn for one more year. See what he can do with a fully healthy Charger team with Derwin James back, Tranquil, and all these other cats. The main issue they need to address is offensive line. I'm not worried about defense. They need to protect Herbert, center, left tackle, right guard. There's only one position that's good in that team right now, and that's left guard. Other than that, we need to move on and protect Herbert. So we'll see what happens. Last question, guys. We really talking a lot tonight on the first down. Who is the most complete team in the NFL right now? Brian. Oh, I'm sorry, Alex.
I mean, that's a tough question. I mean, I'm going to go with the obvious. I think it's Kansas City. But the reason I say Kansas City is because that offense is so potent, right? They could slow it down, speed it up, whatever they need to do. So they can either keep the defense off if they're in a bad matchup off the field, or they can put them on if they're in a good matchup, right? So they can score at will. They have so many weapons, and that defense is not a slouch this year. They actually look pretty good. So, I mean, the Raiders are the only team that really, to me, has given Kansas City a tough time this year. And I think they figured out the puzzle late in the game, last game against them. But to me, I think the writing's on the wall. I really think Kansas City wins it again this year. So I'm going to go with them. I think they're the most complete team.
For me, Brian and Alex, I like your pick. Chiefs would be my pick as well. But I got another team. I'm going to go to the NFC. I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints. The reason why I'm going with the Saints is their defense. To me, I think you guys, the numbers are backing it up. Their defense has been one of the best things about them this year. They really upgraded their defense a lot compared to last year. Cameron Jordan, Lattimore, the addition of I can't think of Jenkins. Is that his name? Jenkins from Philly. Yeah. Huge addition there. Demario Davis, all these cats playing really good in New Orleans. I know Drew Brees is gone. Trust me, I'm not betting on Taysom Hill going in the postseason. I don't bet him at all. But I'm looking when Drew Brees comes back. I think this team will be full forced. There's nothing in front of them that's going to stop them for that number one seed. And I really think that they'll make a fight at the end of the day. I really wanted to pick the Green Bay Packers. The reason why I won't pick the Green Bay Packers is because I just don't trust that defense. With that being said, I got the Saints.
I also like Green Bay. I think Green Bay's defense can be better. So Kansas City, I think, is the best team because of their offense. Their defense doesn't really need to be very good. Right. So the question being the most complete team, that's strength relative on both sides of the ball. The numbers say it's the Rams because the Rams have the 6th best offense in football, the 2nd best defense in yards per game. So they didn't do it last week when it would have won me money in a parlay. So at me, but they've been a surprise team for me, right? I mean, listen, I thought they were the clear 4 in the West, and I thought the Niners would be better. I mean, injuries there obviously have played a role, but listen, they've gotten rid of some dead weight. I think Goff is underrated in a way because I think people have no expectation. I mean, you want to say Dak was the best quarterback in that draft, and listen, Goff's at least been to a Super Bowl. He's leading a good team right now. They've gotten rid of Todd Gurley, and they haven't missed a beat. Now you can say why not because he's a running back, but they run the ball well, they throw the ball well. They have the best defensive player in the game on the opposite side of the ball. So you talk about the completeness of a team. It's the Rams, and I am surprised that I am on December 2nd, 2020 that I'm saying that.
That's a good pick. All right, guys. Before we get down to second down buy or sell, check out this commercial that we have that Archie made. It is our introduction to this new company, this new adventure that Alex and I are joining on, called The Buzz. Check it out.
In the hills with the stars, told you I'd raise the bar, told you that I'd go far. Baby, it's crystal clear. I'm not a souvenir. I'm not an accessory. I'm a necessity. So come and check me out now. I'm a necessity. So come and check me out now.
Yeah, man. That's The Buzz. That's our new company that we have joined, and I want to check this out for second down buy or sell. We got to start with Brian. I have to start with Brian. We just got to talk about it a little bit. A lot of rumors going around today that I read. Dak Prescott, possibly what was on the rumor report that I was reading, that is usually a guy that's pretty reliant when it comes to Twitter. He said the Jets and the Cowboys would do a trade where the Cowboys would get Trevor Lawrence and the Jets would get a whole of picks and Dak. Brian, buy or sell that rumor?
I mean, it depends on the price, right? But I've been banging this drum now for a little while here. Whether you like Dak or you don't like Dak, they're in a bad salary cap spot for next season. So they franchise him, they're $11 million over, and the cap's going down. So I said coming into this year, it wouldn't surprise me if this was his final year there. The Jets apparently have some cap space if they want to take him on. I mean, it depends on the price. I mean, what I'm actually hoping for is for Trevor Lawrence to pull an Eli Manning and say, you know what, I'm not going to play for you. And I think that the best team or the most aggressive team at that point, which could be in range to move up, would be the Dallas Cowboys. And then you can move Dak in that deal. You can move whatever pick you have in that deal. You can move Dak somewhere else. And you can bring in the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck on a cost-controlled contract. That's where I parked my car. Look, you can say I'm an anti-Dak guy. I'm not going to back down from that mantle. He played well to start the year, but a lot of that's because they couldn't defend. You know, a lot of numbers with quarterbacks, even receivers and running backs, are the situation around you and the game flow. If your defense can't stop a cold, you're going to have a lot more passing yards because you have to. It's the nature of football. So don't buy into the touchdowns and stuff. Say, oh, look how great he is. You know, you want to hear his stat from last year? He threw 30 touchdowns last year, Dak Prescott, right? 14 of them came in the 4 games against the Redskins and Giants. So, you know, just calling that out there. I would love that. I mean, I would go 6 to midnight so hard you'd feel it all the way in San Diego. So just, yeah. It would poke you in the face in San Diego across the country.
Hey, I got something for that poke. It's called manscaped.com. Alex, buy or sell?
Room before I do that, but yeah.
Listen, I told you before that this was his last year. If you remember in the beginning of the year when they franchised you, I told you, and it sucks for him because I really think Dallas has a lot of talent, man, and I don't think he will be as good somewhere else without as much talent. I'm a Dak supporter. I love Dak. I thought he was underrated for a long time. I thought he was the steal of the draft. I would have loved him to be in Cleveland. I would never pay him that type of money. He's not worth it. But there's not a lot of quarterbacks I would pay that type of money. Unfortunately, there just really isn't. I mean,
sooner or later you're going to have to, though, because that's
I get you. We're going to probably overpay sorry ass Mayfield because we're going to make the playoffs this year by some miracle. Not him at all. Our running backs and our defense are going to lead us there. But he's going to get a payday, a ridiculous payday that he doesn't deserve. His stats won't back it up, and we'll be in the same Dak purgatory that some other team is going to pay. And the Jets are stupid enough and their front office is dumb enough that they'll probably make his trade, and they'll probably do it. And they'll probably get short end on the trade somehow, because somehow freaking Jerry always wins in trades, even though he doesn't deserve it, even though I think the people he surrounded him with are smart. He's not.
Jerry Jones traded a 1 and a 3 for Roy Williams.
I got you. But in recent history, it has been in his favor, unfortunately, for people that can't stand the Cowboys. So yeah, I mean, I'm buying 100%. I would bet a large amount of money that is important to me that Dak is not with the Cowboys next year, and that it'll probably be a draft day trade, 100%.
Oh my God,
I'd be so excited.
As we have seen this year, no quarterback has been able to do what he was able to do with the defense being that bad. So with that being said, I think that's weakness. The second part of that is before the year I would say sell. Now I'm going to buy, but I'm not buying with the Jets. I'm still sticking with my Colt prediction, and my prediction was the Indianapolis Colts making a move for Dak Prescott. I don't know what the details would be. I don't know what the resources would be, but they have the second best cap going into next year, and they have what's his name coming off the books. Philip Rivers obviously is a 1-year deal. The backup quarterback Brissett is also coming off the books after this year. So I mean, it's more money for them. If I'm Indy, I'm making that move. It's an easy move, and for me, if the Dallas Cowboys are going to be $11 million under the cap or over the cap by franchising them, obviously that means that they would have to probably ship out Amari Cooper and other cats to try to get underneath the cap. Well, so that I don't think Jerry Jones would make that move. I don't know what Jerry's going to do. Jerry's a wild card. Who knows what he's able to do? Because I know he likes Dak a lot, and I know that city and that team likes him a lot. But finance-wise, coming off a horrific injury, I don't know what type of player he's going to be. So I think Indy can afford that move. They could afford that trade. So I still think Indy is going to be the suitor for Dak Prescott. And who knows, Alex? Cleveland could also make that move too. I mean, Cleveland could.
Way.
It could happen. It could happen because
way. You stop your trash ass lies that you are speaking right now. Listen, just start getting things in order there, and we would not. What's
Baker doing?
I don't give a shit about Baker. I'm talking about the front office is finally not, knows their asshole from a hole in the ground. Finally, at least we're at that point now. Don't take me backwards to the damn Johnny Manziel, Brady Quinn days. All right, we're at least at a point now where we're winning games.
Will you go
that
backwards?
Would set us back 10 years.
Will you go back? Will you feel this way by going backwards if they offer Baker a big deal?
No, I listen. I'll take Baker. Understand this. Baker's healthy, right? Part of Dak's game is being mobile, right? We don't know what we're going to get from him. He may never be the same again. He might be a statue in the pocket. He might pull a freaking I'm brain
RG3.
No, damn Andrew Luck and retire after 1 year. He might. You never know with him. I don't know where his mind at. I got what you're saying, but he could sign his big contract, right? Because he's going to get big time money, right? He's going to get somewhere below Mahomes' range, but Deshaun Watson's range. He's going to get that. I'm sorry. I
No,
think it's
he's
going to
not.
happen. I think it's going to happen. I hate to break it to you. That's what quarterbacks get now. The market has been reset again. It's just, it is what it is.
And they
But I
know
will
they
say-
sign that contract.
The Colts are the best run team in football, bar none.
Yes, so they're not taking Dak. They're not
They, got a
dumb.
lot- they do have a lot of space to work with.
Yeah, but they're not dumb. Like,
That's
No,
not
he's a
no,
dumb.
wild
no.
card.
What's dumb
That's why I
about
say-
that?
Because you don't know what you're getting. You are
Okay,
investing
so
a
like
crap
four-
ton of money.
They can give him a 1-year deal. They don't need to sign him a 5-year deal. What do you mean?
You think Dak's
No,
going to take a 1-year deal? If I'm Dak, I'm not taking a 1-year deal.
From-
I don't know what I'm going to be. I'm going to the Jets because the
So-
Jets will give him a 5-year deal, overpay him because they'll finally have their
of course.
quarterback, right? Like,
Brian, hold on. Finance
I'm not-
finance question for you.
Mhm.
Cowboys don't franchise him. I know there's a deadline, right? What does that mean? Does he become an unrestricted free agent or restricted free agent?
I think he goes. I mean, there's no if you don't offer him the franchise tag, he's a free agent.
Okay.
My understanding.
Okay.
So that's why they will
Yeah,
offer it
agreed.
to him
They're
because
gonna
they
give
can't
it
let
to
him
him.
walk for nothing.
because they can't let him go for nothing.
So I think all three of us can agree to say that it's going to be between what 60 to 75% chance that he'll get franchised.
No,
I
I'd
mean,
say it's
I
a
just-
100%
I don't-
chance he gets franchised
Look,
because they're
tag
not
and
working
trade.
out a long-term deal with him.
Tag and trade.
Tag and trade. All righty.
It's like a sign and trade in the NBA.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Kirk Cousins fantasy stock heading into fantasy playoffs. Are you buying or are you selling, Alex?
I mean, I'm always selling on Kirk Cousins. I don't care what he does. I'm always selling on him.
Recently, he's been slated as a quarterback 6 heading into this week as the
He
last.
could be
couple weeks.
quarterback 1 going into this week.
Okay.
It's playoff time, fantasy or otherwise. Kirk Cousins a bum in the playoffs, no matter when it's the playoffs. Fantasy or regular season
Okay. All right.
or real world. Fantasy or real world. He chokes in the playoffs. So you want to put your trust in that bum? Go for it.
The Vikings did win a playoff game last year.
They did.
What,
So-
was
They
it
did.
because of him?
He did throw the winning touchdown at the
Oh
end.
my God! Listen, okay, he threw a congratulations.
Do you get your head out of your ass?
So,
Brian, go ahead.
well, look, none of the rest of their games are on Monday night, so that bodes well because Kirk sucks on Monday night. They got a bunch of Sunday games, a Friday for Christmas, and January 3rd. The reason that you buy Cousins is not because you like Cousins, it's because that you like the surrounding cast and the guys he's throwing to. Justin Jefferson is the best receiver on that team, and that says something. Because I think Adam Thielen's very good. Justin Jefferson was a home run pick by them. Great work by a team who knows how to draft, unlike some other teams that draft Jalen Reagor. If you're buying that, it's because you think he's going to be throwing the ball downfield. Their schedule the rest of the way is Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Chicago, Saints, Detroit. I see 3 wins there. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Depends who else I have on my team. But those are you'd play him against Jacksonville. You'd play him against probably against Chicago. The way they just got lit up by Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, I think Chicago's a coin flip for me, but I would agree with you on Detroit and Jacksonville for sure, right? Chicago would
No shit.
show up. What team's going to show up with Chicago, right? Is the defense going to play with his hair on fire, or are they going to,
Yeah, I'm buying.
sleep in the parking lot?
Pretty easy for me.
selling.
I'm buying.
Selling.
I'm buying
He's a
easily
bum.
because
Overpaid
he's
bum.
been able to play good, and he has a great receiving core behind him. Also has
Overpaid
Dalvin
bum.
Cook. He's not overpaid.
Overpaid bum.
It's not a salary cap
we
answer.
talked about this, so we'll move on. DK Metcalf is a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. Buying or selling, Brian?
It's lofty. It's lofty. I mean, I don't look. Can he get there? Absolutely. I mean, the guy fell in the draft for reasons I don't even understand. I thought he was going to go first round to the Redskins, and the Redskins took Dwayne Haskins. Cool. Yeah, could he be? Look, I mean, he's got every tool, right? He's got the size. I mean, He's really, really good. Am I going to put him in top 5 just yet? I think that's just a touch early. Ask me this question in 2 years. I think it's a no-brainer, but I think we're just not there yet.
Yeah, for me, man, it's a no-brainer as well. I'm saying no. I think he's probably going to eclipse the top 10, but for me, it's a top 5. I don't put him above Julio, DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Thomas, and
Tyreek Hill.
I mean, Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen's having a great year.
Yeah. And who? Devontae Adams? Yeah, there you go. Take Keenan out. Devontae Adams. There you go. There's your top 5. Yeah. So I mean, I still consider guys that are better than him. I still want to see a couple more years, and then we'll probably put him in the top 5.
But having said that, though, guys, how bad Seattle's defense is, I mean, that plays a role in Metcalf's numbers.
I'm going to buy.
Oh,
the guy is dwarfing Megatron's numbers in 2 seasons. Look at the stats. You can't argue with the stats. I understand he gets more opportunities because their defense is bad. They got to throw the ball more. I understand that. But if you watch the guy play, it's like watching Megatron again. He's unguardable. You have to double team him, and you better pray that your safety hits him damn hard in the first half, or he's going to kill you in the second half, because then he's not scared to go over the middle. He's going to make one-handed catch. Like, he is the closest thing we're going to see to Megatron again, if not eclipse that. I slept on him coming out of the draft. Same reason. I couldn't understand why he fell, right, Brian? I was like, what? Where are the red flags with this guy? What has he done? He had to do something off field, maybe interviewed bad. I couldn't figure it out, right?
His route running.
But he seems to have figured that out, right?
Oh,
or if he hasn't figured it out, he's such a freak athlete that it doesn't matter.
He runs a 4.
And he's I
don't understand it.
Right.
I never got it coming to college. I'm with you, dude. He beasted the defensive player of the year last year. Do you guys not remember what Seattle did in New England in week 3 or week 2? I mean, he beasted. I can't think of his name right now. What's his name? The corner.
Stephon Gilmore.
And then Monday night, we saw it, Brian. He beasted freaking oh my God, I can't. Darius Slay, who's considered one of the best corners in the game.
He made Slay he embarrassed Slay. I was embarrassed.
The only guy that has locked him down has been Jalen Ramsey. That's it.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. He's rated the best cornerback in the NFL. For a couple years. Kind of good.
Ramsey didn't seem to have a problem. Yep, you're right.
I mean, he's the number 1 corner. I
would have loved Jalen Ramsey for Dallas at that draft pick.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Let's get to 4th down, week 13 pick 'em. We're going to pick a team and then just talk about it a little bit and move on. Saints meet the Falcons. Falcons have been on a winning streak as of late. I'm going to start off. I got the Saints, obviously. I think the Saints are going to win this game out. I think Taysom Hill is going to keep doing what he's doing, quarterback design runs, and just go on from there. All I know is that as a Kamara owner, it's hurting my value. And for a Michael Thomas owner, he had a great game last week. We'll see if that continues. But for me, it's the Saints.
I think Atlanta owes them one. I thought that they played 2 weeks ago. Atlanta looked pretty bad. I mean, look, Atlanta is bad, but they looked really bad in that game. Matt Ryan's not the best quarterback in football, but he is better than Taysom Hill. I think Atlanta just finds a way to get that done. The only thing you got to worry about, again, is they just put up 40-something points against the Raiders. You got to wonder if there's any kind of layover for that. It's a home game. I'll go with Atlanta because I think the Saints are playing above themselves right now.
Why are you picking my upset of the week? Yeah, I'm picking Atlanta as well. Taysom Hill did not look impressive to me, which tells me how in the hell bad is Jameis Winston? Like, how terrible is he? Because he cannot resurrect his career. We all thought he went to New Orleans to learn from Drew Brees. He was the no doubt heir apparent. They were going to keep Tyson Hill in his role that he's been, that gadget, third quarterback, whatever, second string quarterback, whatever. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Tyson Hill's the starter. And I'm like, that just doesn't make any sense. to me.
No.
Like, if you watch the guy play quarterback, he's not a quarterback. He's Christian McCaffrey, who can just maybe throw the ball every once in a while. And he's not that good. But I'm just saying, he's that type of guy. He's just shifty, big, and he makes moves. I was not impressed with that offense. I thought the Saints did not look impressive.
I know somebody who said that Jameis Winston was going to be the MVP of the league this year.
Oh, jeez.
Clowns. Anyway.
Oh, man. Cleveland Browns go in against the Tennessee Titans. Titans just had a big win last week against Indy. Titans are now back in the lead for their division. This game for me is going to be pretty hard. I think it's going to be a ground and pound attack, obviously, with the lack of passing skills from Baker. And I think Tennessee Titans going to be relying a lot on Derrick Henry. Go figure. I got Tennessee Titans win this game very close. 2017 Titans.
I see a letdown here. The Titans had a huge, monumental win against the Colts last week, a win they absolutely had to have. And, you know, the Browns kind of, I mean, they're an extremely run-heavy offense too. So I think you're going to see, you know, a lot of ground in this game. Just something tells me Cleveland finds a way to pull this out. I don't know why. I don't feel good about it. In my chest area, like I could take a shower. Probably need to go manscape. But it's just a feeling. Just a hunch. I'm probably wrong. I'll go Cleveland.
Titans by 20.
Okay. Titans
I think
by
it's
20.
an absolute massacre. As a long-suffering Browns fan, right? This is not one of the wins I counted on my schedule. I haven't seen anything that
how many did you count though before the season started?
I said we were going to go 10-6.
Okay,
we're on track. I think we're going to go 10-6.
That's fair. Okay.
You and I agreed on that. We both said 10-6 for the Browns.
Yeah, I'm a realistic fan. I said 10-6, 9-7. That's just, as a Browns fan, it doesn't matter if we had Tom Brady at quarterback. We find a way to lose. Wouldn't matter, right? We could have Patrick Mahomes. Let's figure out an offense to F him up. I'm telling you, there would be something we would do. I'm just telling you. As a Browns fan, that's how we roll. All right.
Tripping.
I think
you're
Titans
done. You're done. We're moving on.
Win by a lot.
Lions against the Bears. I'm not talking much about this game. I got the freaking. I got the Detroit Lions win this game. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Bears stink.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago's favored by 3. They're at home. I'm going to take Chicago.
Okay. Another game I'm not talking about that much. No, I was excited for this game until Joe Burrow got hurt.
Let Brian say Bears?
He said Bears stink.
No, Lions. Bears stink.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I got the Dolphins obviously win this game, getting back on track to go getting back into the AFC wildcard picture. I got the Dolphins winning against the Bengals.
I like
half-point favors.
Yeah. I like Miami's defense a lot. I let Tua rest. This is not a year. They're not going to win a Super Bowl this year. It's actually a really great transition year for them. Bengals are just playing out the string here. Don't really care. I mean, who the quarterback is. They're not going to win games. There's no really to get excited about. There's no Joe Burrow. They would rather lose at this point too. Miami gets a win.
Yep. Jaguars against the Vikings. Another freaking burner. I got Minnesota winning this game, guys, and it's going to get interesting in the NFC. Because I know they lost last week against the Dallas Cowboys, but another win here could probably put them in that picture for playing for a potential 7th spot in the NFC. So I got Minnesota winning this game.
How can you not?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, look, listen, Jacksonville's just queued up for Justin Fields, and they are hoping beyond hope the Jets win a game. Not going to happen. But, Vikings are – listen, they're an interesting team. They have like a really thin road maybe to a playoff spot, but it's extremely unlikely. They're in division with 2 other teams that stink, so they can pop them. I don't know that necessarily get into a wild card. Depends what the West does, but this is a game that they will win. I mean, they'll throw it around the field. They'll start Kirk Cousins for fantasy and do very well, and I think they'll be all right. Good survivor pick.
I mean, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Vikings, no-brainer.
All right. Colts against the Texans, as you guys know, we didn't talk about it tonight, but Will Fuller is done for the season. And cornerback, was it Brandon Doby or
Bradley Roby?
Yeah, Brandon Roby. Sorry.
My
apologies.
He ratted out. Snitched like 6'9".
Sure.
Yeah.
So he's out. They're out for the rest of the season, and they're also out for week 1 of next season. So with that being said, I think the Colts probably the best thing they heard all week was Will Fuller being gone because now Deshaun Watson lost his go-to deep target. I got the Colts winning this game easily. So Colts for me.
You know who else is a fan of Will Fuller getting suspended is the Miami Dolphins, who own Houston's first-round pick, which will now go up and up and up. Colts put the smack down here. The Colts are mad after last week. They are angry. You want to see them when they're angry. It's a good team.
Yeah. I'm gonna pick the Colts as well. And as a Brandon Cooks owner in fantasy, I'm very happy because now it means more targets for my guy. Because it means more targets for my guy.
You're not getting the playoffs. What does it matter? Raiders against the Jets. Another great game to watch. God, there's a lot of sucky games this week. I got the Las Vegas Raiders. They're great at home. They suck when they travel, as you saw last week. Derek Carr, -9 points in PPR formats, or -6. I don't know. Have you guys ever seen a quarterback so hot and cold? I have never seen a quarterback so hot and cold like Derek Carr. I got the Raiders winning. They should win this game pretty easily.
It's not that the Raiders win, but the Jets will lose. So.
Yeah. All right. Giants of the Seahawks. Another boring game. I'm going to go with the Seahawks winning this game, guys.
Colt McCoy. Fire it up.
Favored by 10 points. Colts win.
This would be my survivor pick.
Not bad.
Rams against the Cardinals. Okay, now this is going to be interesting. I like this game a lot. If I'm correct, I believe the Rams beat the Cardinals the first matchup. Or is this the first time they're playing?
I think it's the first time they're playing.
Is it the first time? I thought they played early in the year.
Well, God made the internet.
First one, because they play the last week.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is going to be an interesting matchup. It's going to tell us a lot about what to expect. This game is going to be tough, but I think the Rams, like my buddy here, Brian, said about earlier about being the most complete team. I think the Rams will be able to bottle up this offense a lot, and I'm going to go with the Rams.
Guys, this might be a must-win for both teams. You got the Rams who, if they have any intention of catching Seattle and their schedule really opens up as you move through, they got to win this game. Then at the same time, the Cardinals had a tenuous hold on a spot, and that's kind of fading away now. You lose last week. It's all on Kyler Murray's shoulder, literally. I think they find a way to win this game if Murray's 100%. If not, this could get ugly. You want to talk about an MVP candidate? Honestly, the Cardinals are a 2-win team without Kyler Murray, and that's just the truth. So if he's not 100%, they're not going to too many games.
Yeah, the same. I mean, it all depends on Kyler Murray, but Vegas has got it by 3 for the Rams. So I'm going to tend to go with the Rams. I think they're a better team, but if Kyler's healthy, he could sneak out a win. He's been scary impressive when he's healthy.
Patriots against the Chargers. I hope the Chargers lose. I hope they continue to lose so we can get a top 4, top 3 pick. And maybe probably take a trade for Justin if anyone wants Justin Fields. But other than that, I'm gonna go with the Patriots. Bill Belichick against first-time quarterbacks. His defense is always winning. So I'm gonna go with the Pats.
I like the Chargers here. You know why? Because Cam Newton stinks.
You suck. Don't do that.
How am I gonna pick? Come on, you want to pick Cam? You want to pick Cam Newton in the game against Justin Herbert?
Yes, please. God, Brian. Go ahead, Alex. I don't want to hear your reasoning.
Chargers are favored by 1 point at home against the Patriots, but I'm going to take the Patriots. I'm going to take the Patriots.
God, Brian. Here you go. Brian Tart is constantly right. Oh, my God. Thanks, Brent. I hear you enough in the group chat, jackass. Oh yeah, by the way, Alex Brandt's going to be our guest next week. I'm looking forward to that. Eagles against the Packers.
You know how Ted DiBiase used to laugh? That's how I'm laughing at this thing.
This game. You know, it says a lot. The Packers.
Move on.
Please.
Do you agree, Packers?
Oh, come on. Look. If the Eagles go into Green Bay and what they did last year, egg on my face. Ain't gonna happen.
Ooh.
Packers by like about 112.
Broncos against the Chiefs. I'm not going to talk much about this game. I got the Chiefs.
Who's playing quarterback?
I don't know.
Quarterback? Maybe the kicker.
I hope it's not Minton. He did terrible. 1 for 9. You know, I give him mad respect for doing that, but that's tough.
Chiefs win. The Chiefs. Ho hum. Chiefs win. I mean, that's the reality of it.
Yeah. Washington football team against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Alex, can you tell me what the favorite is for Vegas for this one?
No, I don't have. Oh man, I don't have a favor for that one. No, I can't tell you. I mean, I could probably look it up. But this is my upset of the week, number 2.
Mother effer! You tell me.
Washington!
Yeah, I got Washington winning this game as well. I think Pittsburgh's going to be tired. I think it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be, okay, let's just take an L. And so I really think the Washington football team is going to get the win this Sunday against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Upset!
Look, they're not going 16-0, but this ain't the spot. They got to win here.
Okay. Buffalo Bills against the San Francisco 49ers. I like this game. This is probably my game of the week. They're playing. It's a late Monday night game. Niners their defense looked great last week. Looks like Richard Sherman made a pretty much of a big difference. Got a pick last week as well. Brian, who you got this game, and do you believe that Josh Allen is still on the right track of getting this team to a potential, a deep run in the playoffs?
This is it. Look, this is a game where if you're the Bills, you need to make a statement. And I think I've said that about 5 or 6 games for the Bills this year, but I need that statement win where I'm going to take over this division and get the home game. You have to beat a team with Nick Mullins at quarterback. The Rams found a way not to do it, to screw my money, and that's fine. I'll live with that. But I think the Bills are not the Bills that we know from last year. The defense just is not as good, right? If you look at the numbers, they're nowhere near the team they used to be. Whether you think that's good or bad, I mean, they're winning more games, so the results speak for themselves. Bills need to get a win here. It needs to be a 10-point win. It needs to never be in doubt the whole time, and they need to launch themselves into the last couple weeks here.
I like it.
Line is Steelers plus 9. Well, minus 9.5. They're favored 9.5 points.
Oh, definitely Washington. I got the
Bills as well.
I got the Bills as well.
Okay.
Guys, last game. Cowboys against the Ravens. The Ravens. This is what else you got?
Yeah, you're right. My bad.
I don't know if Lamar Jackson's playing this game or not, but I don't think it matters.
Upset number 3, Cowboys.
I would be upset. Yes, thank you for noticing.
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
No.
Yeah, 100%. This is the type of game the Ravens lose.
Listen,
Cowboys.
you want to talk about must-win games? The Ravens aren't in a playoff spot right now.
Oh, I know.
6-1, and now they're 6-5. You know what's going to be the wonderful panacea for all the ills? The Dallas Cowboys.
Cowboys win
Ravens
this game.
by 20.
I'm telling you, Cowboys win this game.
Sorry, Brian.
You know how I know that?
As well.
Because the Ravens are going to kick the shit out of everybody else the rest of the year. They're going to win out to make the playoffs. But they don't play well until their back's against the wall. So this will put their backs against the wall to get them to finish out the season.
There ain't that much room between their back and the wall right now.
Oh, I agree. Cowboys.
Well, guys, that is our show for tonight. We went really, really above our time. Baby.
We're not doing fantasy this week?
No, we're not going to do fantasy this week.
Okay, sounds good to me. I
Yeah.
don't like my picks anyways.
Good. Brian, thank you so much for joining the show tonight.
Yeah,
really
for coming,
appreciate it. That didn't sound considerate at all whatsoever, dude. But anyways, Brian, any last words you want to say before we get you out of here?
No, listen, just best luck to you guys on the new venture. You got Sports Box support for sure. We love seeing you guys do very well. If you're looking for more of my face, don't know why, you can find it on the Sports Box. We're all over the place: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Whenever our group sees podcasts like this doing well, it puts a smile on my face. It's good for everybody. So hopefully you support these guys. And if you need to shave your balls, they got something they can help you with.
Like it. Classy.
Alex, final words.
Hey, man, everybody have a great week, man. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us, BA. Appreciate it, man. It's been a lot of fun. Always a pleasure getting some knowledge from you and imparting some knowledge mainly to Andrew. But, I think you pick up a little bit from me every once in a while. So, yeah, man, everybody have a great week, man. Stay safe and wear your effing mask, please, because I don't want to go into lockdown for another 4, 6, 10 months, whatever it'll be again. Please wear your mask.
The only thing that you should learn from Brian is stop saying right after every other sentence.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so that's
try.
No, you try. Yeah, you need to try harder. So with that being said, man, thank you so much, Brian, for coming on. Really appreciate it, man. We've been boys for almost 3 years now, which is crazy to me because time is going by like that. Glad to see the Sport Box. I think the Sport Box is almost over it's almost at 13,000, 14,000. I mean, it's getting up there. I'm really proud to see you guys grow the way you guys grown, and I'm happy to always be included in your shows, just like Alex is. And thank you so much for joining on the show tonight. And I'm gonna try to get more sports spot guys on here. On another note, personal note, a friend of mine, and Alex knows him from SoCal, from San Diego. His name's Kevin Williams. He is actually heading into the military. Made a decision a couple weeks ago. I'm super proud of him. Wanted to give him a shout out on my podcast show. I wish the best of luck for him. He's going to Chicago, going to go to a military boot camp, and then from there he's going to school and training about his job, and then he's gonna go get deployed somewhere. So
I've always said I got a ton of admiration for those guys. I'm not built that way. I never was built that way. So thank you. And, if you have a veteran in your life, make sure you thank them. It's never going to be enough, but I know from people telling me like that, it means a lot.
I got one at the bottom of me that stuck with me the rest of my life, but here it is.
Hey, man, you're lucky. You're better for it.
I am better for it. So shout out to Kevin, man. Shout out to Kevin and his journey coming up here next week and next couple of weeks. Gonna miss him. And love you, bro. With that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for the show tonight. I got a couple more comments here before I get out. Great shows, guys. Thanks, Josh. And nice to see you all again. Brent, I love you, bro. We'll talk to you soon. And thank you guys so much for showing tonight. This is Game Winning Drive. We'll be on next Wednesday. And please like and follow the Buzz and the Sports Box.